Avi,
Robbie, hi!
coming directly to us from Los Angeles, City of Angels,
Woo! In the car.
in the car.
In the car.
Because your partner is working, right?
Correct. She's working remotely. And so she's on like video call and it's for a writer's room. So it's just we also live in a studio, so it's not a lot of private space. So I didn't want to be distracting and loud AF and be disruptive while she's doing her work. So I snuck away, but I've been taking walks and I've got my mask.
As you do.
Yeah, but I
Um,
came in the car. Yeah.
what, so Cygnet audiences will know you from Taylor Max here and also the New Play Festival this past year. But you also have worked since Cygnet. You did a show at Shakespeare Theater. You did a show at the Old Globe. You did some TV work. You did some voiceover work. So we want to know your creative journey. Start from
Mm.
the beginning.
Oh, whoa! From the beginning, don't give me this power to talk. Okay, about my story. Let me try to make it quick. For talking about just stage stuff, I feel like my first play ever was in sixth grade. It was Much Ado About Nothing,
Mm.
and I went to a Catholic school, and it was co-ed, but only the girls were like signed up for the after school drama program. So we had to, mess around with the gender and the casting, and I got cast as Benedict. So obviously the script was revised and edited. I still have no idea how we got like past at a Catholic school doing this play, but I was Benedict, and I remember being so like it was my first time of kind of gender exploration, um, and feeling so empowered in that like role. So it was really, really awesome. But then flash forward, I didn't do anything theater related until high school. And I did the, fall plays and the spring musicals all throughout my 4 years of high school. And then decided that I wanted to keep doing theater and pursue it as a profession. And so I went to college, went to school,
UCI,
applied
right?
to several. No, Cal State Fullerton.
That's
I
right.
State Fullerton, but I did apply to some big name schools, but went through that audition process, but didn't make it, didn't get accepted to those schools. And Cal State Fullerton was kind of my backup school, but no regrets. Happy with the training I received and the people I met and got to build relationships with and the things I learned. But it's tricky because I was still being groomed as a female actor, um, because that's how I was still presenting. So even though I still had this very queer mask aesthetic, I was still trying really hard to fit myself into that box. Um, but long story short, that program made cuts internally. So I only got 2 full years of official training. So I wasn't able to continue in the program to get my BFA in acting. I just got my BA in theater arts, a general theater degree. But it allowed me to do some really cool things like devise my own piece of physical theater. So that was really cool. So then that ended. My next step was to I assumed I was going to stay in Southern California and go to LA, but something didn't feel right about that. And same thing with New York, feeling kind of out of reach, maybe geographically, I don't know, but also, New York. But I settled and landed on Chicago as this city where I could grow as a human and as an artist. And that's the goals I set, to go out there and throw myself into the theater scene out there. And I did. And I ended up being in Chicago for 7, almost 8 years, uh, truly doing what I set out to do. I transitioned in Chicago, and I grew artistically there in Chicago. So really, 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 that's kind of what it is. And then now I'm in LA. So I guess that's the end of the journey there. But in Chicago, I started auditioning for regional theater. And that's where that kind of started opening up to me. And those opportunities started flowing into my life. So I started taking them. I said, how cool to go travel and be in new cities and do some theater. And that was really awesome. So, but now I'm settled here in LA, and I feel like it's a kind of a full circle moment, because I thought I thought LA was going to be it, but I wasn't quite ready for it yet. Um, but now I'm here, and things started off very well. But now we are where we are, where some things there's a little more uncertainty. But yeah, that's my journey.
I love all the full circles in your journey.
Yes.
There's a serious lag to your video right now. Hold on.
But yeah.
I'm hoping that maybe if I pause, it'll catch up, but I don't know.
Oh no, is this gonna be crap? Maybe it's just my audio. Maybe you just gotta use my audio.
Does it help if you go for a walk or something?
You think so? If I'm walking out there?
Maybe. Take us on a trip.
But then I have to put my mask on.
That's okay. You hate this idea. Let's not do it.
You want me to try walking outside?
Well, I feel like the audio is so disconnected from what your face.
Okay, fine. Let me 1 second. Let me get prepared. All right.
There's the beautiful LA sun.
All right, here we go. Let me figure this out. All right. I'm gonna leave my notes, so I don't know what I said, so it's okay though. We'll just wing it. All right.
Or we can also reschedule this.
We're gonna reschedule it?
No, what do you think? We're gonna do it this way.
What? All right, let's try. Is this better?
I don't know. Well, let's see.
Let me put my headphones in.
Okay. Maybe if you get close to your studio and like you can use that internet.
What? You mean like go near my house and use the internet? Yeah, so she can hear me and be like, what are you doing? Because I told her I was just going for a walk. Okay, what do you think? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Is this weird? I mean, this is the world we're in, Robbie.
Yeah, let's just keep talking like this. So, tell me a little bit about like what's your day-to-day life right now?
My day-to-day, yeah. Similarly, I'm someone that loves schedules and plans, and I'm always like, if it's not in my iPhone or my iCal, then it's not happening. So I've been trying to like not be so hard on myself if I don't keep to the schedule, but I'm still trying to hold myself accountable with being like, meditate 10 minutes and put it in my calendar, like 10:50 to 11 a.m. meditate. I'm also trying to once a week do keep up with my martial arts training that I just started again this year, because it's karate was something I did growing up from age 5 to 16, and then I stopped because I was like theater, and now I just started up again. So I'm trying to do that once a week just to keep things fresh. And I signed up for this class through Coursera called The Science of Well-Being, and it's through Yale. So it's interesting. So that's kind of one thing I'm trying to keep up on a weekly basis, but I don't know. A lot of it feels kind of like just a lot of downtime. But sometimes little projects are coming up here and there that are creative. Surprisingly, there's, yes, some self-tape things that are coming through, but it's like, for instance, I just got something this morning for like stuff related to Pride, and like how people are going to celebrate that, being quarantined or being at home and stuff like that. And voiceover things are still kind of in the mix too. So like yesterday, I went to go do pickups for an audiobook, which my very first audiobook, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, but it
Tell
feels
us,
just like,
tell us about the
yes,
audiobook because I think that it's another big full circle moment for you.
it is a big full circle moment for me. Voiceover was something that I was very interested in doing when I first moved out to Chicago. Again, this was all pre-transition. And I did invest in taking classes and paid lots of money to make this demo reel. And like one or two projects came out of that, but then it just stopped. And I was like, well, I guess my career as a voiceover artist is just, it's not going to happen. And so I kind of let that go. And then I transitioned, started hormones, so hormone replacement therapy, started testosterone, and then my voice changed. And then all of a sudden, these voiceover auditions just started popping up in my inbox.
Hmm.
And I was like, what? Okay, cool. And it gave me this real confidence that it was a seed that I planted and it was actually just starting to bloom. And how beautiful, because I feel like I'm in my authentic, like, I have my authentic voice and in myself. So it was just affirming to see that dream did not die.
Hmm.
And to get to do an audiobook and be the narrator for a book that is very queer, very trans, very Latinx, and very witchy, is really, really exciting. And I feel so honored and blessed to lend my voice to that project. So yeah, it's really cool because the protagonist is trans and Latinx. So it was just the publishing company doing their due diligence of finding a narrator who fit that script, you know? So yeah.
That's awesome. And what do you are you so you're doing all of that? Are you doing anything that's not creative related at all? The martial
Yeah,
arts.
I would say the martial arts thing is like I'm trying to get more like physical activity in, so little workouts here and there. But the karate thing is my most physical thing that I guess is not related to art making. Yeah, some yoga
Yeah.
sometimes if I'm like, oh, my body, gotta stretch this body. The meditating. Uh, Yeah, but somehow I just keep finding myself in creative projects, be it drawing too, making little pictures and sketches. And I just made some handmade birthday cards for my sister and her boyfriend since their
Oh.
birthdays are coming up. And yeah, some friends have been doing like little film projects, like 48 hour, 72-hour like film fest, and they give us a theme and then they give us a line that we have to include. So I've made two little shorts for that, and we just did screenings via Zoom. So that was really cute and
That's
fun.
fun.
Um, but yeah, I'm trying not to put so much pressure on myself though, to have to do something creative. Like I don't feel that itch. Like I feel like I'm realizing there are other things that I'm prioritizing right now, which is my mental health and well-being, but also like things like my relationship and, you know, just wanting to, I'm doing a lot of growing up
Hmm.
right now, is what it feels like. But a lot of things are being reflected back to me, as far as the things that I can change to be the best me I can be, and but to be the best me for someone else too. So it's a lot of things I'm learning about love right
Hmm.
now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
What do you, when you look back, in the last few years, will you talk about something you're really proud of?
Mm, 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 mm. Um, Shoot. Okay. God, there's different things there. I mean, is this just like general or like pertaining to something artistic?
Both. Let's do general and then
Both.
talk about something you did in the theater.
Sure. I mean, general would probably be that in becoming my authentic self, I guess I can't believe, but like April 16th was my 1 year anniversary of having top surgery. So that can't believe that was a year ago. But that was something that was really a big event in my life. Uh, but something that uh, it made me feel so good about I don't know, being in my body and just I know it's silly, but it's just like I love just walking around without my shirt on. like like I don't know, there's just these things that felt like was really weighing me down sometimes. And I don't know, this again, that making that decision, I'm super grateful that I even had access uh to that and was able to do that. But anyways, I guess that's a general thing. Just that was something I was really proud of, making the decision to do that. Um, and then artistically, I guess there's this thing where sometimes, because I feel like I'm such a specific type, that sometimes I have this fear and anxiety that people are just going to cast me and use me once and then be done with me, and just be like, you served a purpose, you helped us be more diverse and inclusive, like check, and that I'm afraid that like they aren't gonna want to like work with me again. So I guess there's two it's kind of two things to that. The first time where I felt like, wow, I really connected artistically to someone, and I made an artistic colleague and friend, was with Will Davis. And the fact that I worked with him so much in Chicago, I was so like shocked, but not shocked when I just got a direct invite and offer to be a part of another play with him,
Mm,
which was Brandon Jacobs Jenkins at Shakespeare Theater Company. So that just felt like a really incredible moment of just being like, wow, like I know it is sometimes tied to just feeling valued as an
mm,
artist. And then the second time that showed up was with you, and like, you know just being able to like work together on a play, but then knowing that wasn't it. And again, it was something where, you know I again, it's just like I felt like I wasn't just there to just serve one purpose. I wasn't there to just, yeah, it showed me that
yeah.
yes, I'm an actor and I'm an artist. So, and I need to keep thinking of myself like that too, because I think I do that a disservice to myself when I think like,
Mhm,
oh, well, I'm just so specific, and oh, opportunities are just
mhm,
so slim. Um, but I need to look at it like I'm in the pool of I'm an actor competing with other actors,
mm.
and that's just what it is, and it is. I really appreciate when people are looking at me as the best actor for the job.
And not just a Latinx trans actor.
Right. Yeah.
That's beautiful. But in some ways, we've talked about this a lot. Like you've been a reluctant pioneer, but like, but so many people, but so many people look to you, Avi, for as
Yeah.
an example because you have been able to break down so many
Mm.
barriers at these big lord theaters, and now you're
Hmm.
doing it in television and voiceover work, and
Hmm.
so uh, you know whether you liked it or not. You become a real leader for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think I'm starting to have less like cringe and cringy kind of feelings about that, or feeling so resentful of that stuff, because I know it is important, and I'm happy to. I think I found happiness in being able to serve in any way that I can, and it's it's great, because it is beautiful to know that, yes, I I'm helping create change. I think that's always been a kind of a mission, like, statement for me, is to help, like, implement change or get the ball rolling or start conversations, even though you're right. Sometimes I'm like, oh, but I don't want to do this because, oh, when do I get peace? And, educate yourself. But hey, we all, I, I don't know. I've come to a place where I don't feel as intense about that anymore. I feel a little bit more acceptance, for sure, and feeling okay with 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 being in that role. And maybe that's because I'm growing up.
there's a there's a story that I love to tell about, and I'm not saying any names or
Mm-hmm.
how you know this person, but there was
Mm-hmm.
a person, uh, let's say a patron of Cygnet, and you and her had a great relationship, and then one day she came in and she said to you, I'm really frustrated because I realize that there's only two gender markers on this form I have to fill out, and the binary. And you were like, yes, I'm making
Yes,
a difference.
yes, right, right. And then yeah, and then she was like, well, I'm learning.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the other thing, Robbie, is like, there was a time where I felt super, I'll be real, like, angry and, like, aggressive about the fact that, like, things are just slow and people just don't get it, and
Mm,
feeling personally attacked constantly. But I'm realizing, like, we just live in a binary world.
mm,
And, like, even for me now, as I'm presenting more masculine, if anything, like, that is how I'm being read. There are no ands, ifs, or buts. That I am he, that I am a young man. Like, that is how I'm being perceived now. And
mm.
I get it. I understand why. And honestly, it comes down to what I look like, I mean, you can't tell really, but, like, the facial hair, like, telltale sign. That's how we start labeling, and the sound of my voice, like, the shape
Mm.
of my body, like, all these things. But I've come to really, actually, I do feel like, the most acceptance about that than I've ever felt. And that it's like, it's no one is out to get me, no one is trying. I mean, fortunately, luckily, like, no one is being vindictive, no one is, being hateful. It's just knowing that this is the world we live in, and people, I don't know. That's just what it is. And I'm tired. I think I got tired of fighting that and trying so hard and expending so much energy that I was just exhausting myself out.
Yeah.
And so I needed to just take a step back from that, and just, like, okay, like, am I good? Am I good? Like, what's up? So, anyways, back to those things of taking care of myself.
But
And yeah,
but there is a balance though, right? I mean, I
yeah,
always think, like, you know, organizations shouldn't be relying on you to create their copy, and relying on you to be a consultant and to
hmm,
represent um, uh, a group of people. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
that
right,
you're hired as an artist, and
right,
you just want to
right,
make the art. So I do think
yeah.
that there is a balance of that you have to find sometimes, right?
Absolutely, and I will say that, though, like, I've noticed that regionally, like, every time I have worked in regional equity theater, I have noticed that the subtle shifts and changes around that, where I'm like, oh
Mm,
wow, I really am here just as an actor, and no one is expecting anything of me, or to, like, lead that kind of conversation or dialogue. Like they're starting to take it upon themselves to go
Mhm.
ahead and figure it out,
That's great.
or find other resources or other people, not the artist in the room. And I think this last time at Shakespeare Theater Company, it was another big like moment where I was like, wow, I am not the only trans, let alone non-binary person in this room.
Mm,
And that was really powerful.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So here's a big question for you.
Oh no.
Why do you think what we do matters? Like,
Why
why
do
theater? Why hasn't it
why
died?
why theater? Why hasn't it died? Um, I don't know. My basic elementary answer is always like it's a form of like, because that's how it started for me, was a form of like escape. And I don't know if that's not the right word, but it is an opportunity to like experience things that you may not always give yourself the time or the space to experience, and to hopefully learn something or feel something.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I think it's an opportunity to tell and share stories. It's just another form of storytelling, and that's great entertainment. But I mean, it's also it is, yeah, sure, it's teaching you something.
mm.
But what else? Why else is it important? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I left my notes. I
Well,
had these notes.
just like all of our conversations we have with one another, and I've loved how our friendship has blossomed. Um,
Yes.
uh, but I think that, like, theater has always been a place where any story um, can be told, and that in many ways it has always been the first place to tell certain stories, and then other
Mm-hmm.
mediums go, oh well, we can also tell those stories, or we can also influence and use that. But I feel like theater has always been a place that has been a bit more dangerous, not dangerous, but accepting and dangerous, that like we can start
Yeah.
telling we can start telling stories about um, things that maybe are scary, or things that like maybe the mass population doesn't want, but because it's
Mm-hmm.
theater and because it's uniquely local by definition, it is about going to that space and seeing it on that night with that group of people. I think that we can get away with a little bit more, you know
I agree. I agree. It is like the platform, the greatest platform to be, I mean, experimental in this
yeah.
way. So yeah, it is kind of it it can I don't know. Yeah. Yes, I agree.
It's
um
funny because I've been to your home, that like
uh-huh.
I'm starting to like recognize the streets you're on.
That's hilarious. Yeah, because you parked somewhere over here.
Yeah,
It's a lovely day over here.
it looks
But
like it.
yeah. Mhm.
What do you think
Yeah.
how do you think theater will shift?
Yeah, well, it's so, it is, again, like this uncertainty and like what is going on, what is happening, like, are we even going to be able to ever all be like in the same space? Like, how long is it going to be, and we don't know. But with that being said, I am seeing people trying to like theaters and organizations doing what they can to stay relevant and like do it, which is cool, which is great. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I think I have mixed feelings about that.
Lean
But as
into
far
the
as it
but. I want to
changing,
know the but, because I may agree with you.
well, well, I don't know. It's just like, can we just have a moment to like stop and like reflect and just be in what this moment is, and stop trying and pushing so hard to like generate. And it just sometimes feels like people put so much of themselves
Mm,
into this that it's just like, it what I'm learning is like, again, as an artist, and why I'm not putting so much pressure on myself is because like this doesn't just define me. Like I'm more more than this, and I want to feel okay with the fact that like I'm not stressing out or freaking out about the fact that I don't have an audition, or I'm not on a stage, or I'm not filming something. And I don't know. That's me. That's my own personal thing. But like, no, sorry, no tea, no shade to anyone that is feeling that pressure. But I don't know. Then I'm just like, well, maybe I don't know, because that sometimes becomes your world. That's all anyone does, and how they define themselves. So I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah. Reshaping
I
your
don't know,
identity.
Robbie.
No, yeah, totally. I agree. Um, I totally agree. Do you
But I think it's gonna change. But just to answer your question, I think it's gonna change, because it's like, how then what other things can you do to because theater is theater based on people and audience being there. Otherwise it just becomes what, a film. And even then it's like we can't still be doing productions like that, even though there's talks about how can we do it with the least amount of people. um but anyways, but yeah, I don't know, I keep kind of deleting a lot of the emails from all these theaters that I feel are like firing a lot,
yeah.
about these like Q&As or these like Zoom webinars, and that's all
Mhm.
cool. That's all cool, because I think, you know what, maybe some people do need that,
Mm,
and that's okay.
yeah. We can feed the well in an infinite number of ways.
Yes.
Um, what do you remember your we statements?
Oh God. Uh, yeah, let me pull them up.
I have them
Not
actually.
at the top of my head. You have them?
Yeah,
Why don't you read them for us, Robbie?
from Avi. We are allowed to pause to take a break. We can stay active artistically and get creative if we want. We will persevere and become better humans because of this moment. Also, we truly are all in this together. Hmm. So
There you go.
if you could invite anyone in the world to dinner, who would it be?
Oh my goodness. Right. I remember I had all over the board with this one. I was like, oh, I feel really like I've been constantly craving this desire to want to like get more in touch with my indigenous roots. So
Hmm.
I think like someone, I don't have a specific person in mind, but like I'm like, I must have had an ancestor like way, way, way back. That was queer or trans, even though that language didn't exist. But that's in my like vocabulary now. So thinking about that, so summoning or getting in touch with someone
Hmm.
that I could just speak to. I don't know. So that, and then I mentioned someone. Was it? Oh my goodness, do you have it? And I feel terrible, but Maya Gonzalez.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Um, yeah, was someone I just stumbled upon, but it felt like a lot of Maya's work was steeped in like queer, indigenous culture and history and theory. So I I would be interested
I
in
love it.
sitting down with Maya and getting to uh, chat about things and educate myself and learn more,
Can I
because
read her
yeah,
bio?
please do.
Okay. Her bio says Maya is an artist, author, educator, children's book illustrator, publisher, activist, mommy, lover, friend, tree talker, river lover, water rabbit, snake parent, spirit, obsessive recycler, crocheter, seamstress, jeweler, dresser, drag queen, child, crone, death talker, woman, queer, peacemaker, equality lover, freedom fluffer, adventurer, traveler, sky kisser. Oh,
Yes, Maya. My goodness,
that's
that is a
inspiring. I'm going to
bio.
change my bio now. This is inspiring.
Everyone, go change your bios
Get at the
now.
root at what you really want to do. I mean, that's what that is.
Exactly.
Like, what's your mission statement? I always tell my students that, like, try and
Right.
articulate what's due north. So you don't sacrifice that. You
Mm,
don't say yes to things that aren't in alignment with what your mission statement is. And I think so
totally.
often, my God, so often we forget it. And so often we make things because we want a paycheck, or
Mm,
we feel like we have to, or we should. But
mm-hmm.
I'm reminding myself that the river of should is always upstream. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying I'm trying to kind of live in a place of like, you know what?
Oh,
When
sorry. Dog.
sometimes
Go
we
ahead.
get lost. We get lost in the
Yeah.
capitalism of what we do and trying to make it
Yes.
and making sure we're getting our health weeks
Yes.
or our health insurance and paying the bills. And you know what? Art suffers when it becomes a product, so I don't know what that balance is, but I think
Yeah.
we're in a big shift right now where we're going, oh, we can't do it. So
Totally. Totally. Agreed. And you know what? That was something I started to feel a lot of coming off the heels of finishing that show last year in DC. But like, I don't know. I low key was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing theater.
mm,
Like, like I want to be more selective. If theater ever starts again the way as we know it, like I'm gonna just really be mindful of what I'm saying yes to,
yeah,
you know? Because yeah, I agree with you though, Robbie, just to comment on that about we get lost sometimes. And I don't know, do you think that though your mission statement can change? Like
oh
is it
yeah,
ever evolving?
oh yeah,
But it's important to get back to
yeah,
naming it, right? Or
yeah,
having an awareness of what that is that you want. Your true north. That's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and figuring out what are those emotions in yourself that are kind of like those signposts, you know.
Mm, mm,
For me, it's like, oh, I'm bubbling up in anger. Anger is not
mm,
meant to be acted upon, but
mm.
it is a great fucking meter for like, oh, I need to change something,
It is.
change
It
my life.
is. That's true. That's in the last year. Like I've learned that anger is a mask
Mm,
for deeper things and what's underneath that. And something else I'm learning to do, which is so revealing, is like the way that I've developed or these coping mechanisms to not sit in my feelings that are uncomfortable and to not be with them and to push them away, and to avoid at all cost, and that's me a lot lately. So I'm learning, there's this little thing. Also therapy can still exist in this landscape and in this time. I'm still doing that once a week via Zoom.
mm-hmm,
um, But something that my therapist suggested to me was this lady, this woman, and oh goodness, I'm terrible at names, but she talks about like acknowledging your feelings, and a phrase that she talks about is something in me senses or is anxious, or something in me is this, and then a gentle hand, not to like get rid of the emotion, but to say like I'm here with this emotion,
mm,
so it's like naming and identifying the feelings is a skill that I
mm,
am working on developing right now.
mm. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Anyways. Gosh. Woo! What else,
Yeah,
Robbie?
do you have any dream roles, dream shows,
Dream. Oh
dream
Jesus
anything?
Christ. Dream roles. Yeah, okay, I always joke. But like, oh gosh, how cliche. But maybe, no, okay, my dream role, which I've named, is I would love to be Jack Kelly in the musical Newsies.
Love it.
But that's the thing is like I'm my singing voice, and this is something else, like it's a journey, because it's like it's a new instrument kind of all of a sudden. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like figuring out where my vocal range is. But also another little discovery, maybe, which is surprising because I love dancing, but like sometimes keeping rhythm and hearing rhythm is a little hard for me.
Uh,
So it's because Christina, my girlfriend, and I were doing, like, she's like very basic on the guitar, like beginner but skill guitar, but pretty good to like strum and do chords and stuff like that. And so she was teaching me a song, and I was struggling with like maybe being in my head about how I sounded and being like, I can't hit that note, and like,
hmm.
but it also was a rhythmic thing where like she's like, you need to listen. And
Hmm.
it's the other thing I'm learning, listening.
I've been
How to be a good listener.
I've been thinking about like that little sensor voice that you're talking about. I've been,
Yeah.
it bubbles up for me sometimes, especially
Mm.
now that I'm returning back to my first love. My first love in any art form was visual art. And there are
Yes.
times when I'm judging myself and I go, you know what? If I if I practice what I preach, which is that I'm the closest to God when I'm in the act of creation, if I am judging this, then I'm
Mm.
judging God, right?
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
judging the God in me. I am judging the God in this moment. Like I can't, I got to shut that judgment sensor off because it's only messing up that relationship. But that's hard.
It is hard, and I hear that. That judgmental voice is can be very strong.
Do you,
Yeah.
when you were talking about, because I know you have a long history of dance, do you feel like you think that it's the muscles have like atrophied, if you will, like you're just not in the practice, or are you saying that you're trying that the testosterone is making it shift?
I don't want to blame the testosterone. I'm saying it could be a muscle. I think I have not done many shows where there needs to be singing, let alone a full out musical.
Right, right, right.
So definitely my relationship to like music and listening to music in terms of like the singing part of it. Yes, I would say those muscles have atrophied. But as far as the voice thing around, like, sometimes it's hard for me to explain. It's just like I'm expecting another sound to come out, or like I'm like, it's trippy sometimes because I'm like, well, I used to be able to do that, but now I can't. And now it's like smoothing out this new, it just feels different. Like I hear myself and I'm just like, oh, that sounds like I'm straining, and like I don't even know, from the going from my chest to my head and like voice. And it's a little disorienting sometimes, but
Mm.
also I think it is that judgmental thing that maybe I'm making excuses. Maybe I'm setting myself up for, I don't know, maybe that kind of like expectation of like failing. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like I can be a person that makes a lot of excuses sometimes. And that's all tied to who knows, many reasons, right? But I I believe that I can do it, and I know it will take practice to have confidence in my singing voice.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think the rhythmic, like the rhythm stuff, is like, I think that's just a muscle. As far as like I'm not used to like someone playing an instrument and me having to sing along with it. It's not my forte.
Mm.
um, yeah, because I guess I haven't really done a full out musical since high school.
Mm.
Yeah, so
But your voice is beautiful. I mean, you sang some in the play you're workshopping, and it was very
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, and I think that's the thing, is like I know I can carry a tune and I can sing. It's just about like getting in that range that feels comfortable to me, and yeah, just developing that confidence with it. So, but yeah, that's my goal. I'm ready to be in a full on musical. So, if that ever happens.
Let's do something.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting words?
Parting words. Parting words. I'm feeling, as you know, I'm feeling super grateful for this opportunity to still have some kind of uh, conversation and social connection. Because I think during this time too, there is this tendency to want to isolate or stay just so internal. So I really value and appreciate opportunities to be able to still connect and talk to another human being. So that's really awesome. And I'm grateful for you and for our friendship. Uh, and yeah, this is and for this lovely day. So,
Mm,
anyways, it was just a naming of gratitude. So, so
that's a
maybe
good
that
way
can
to
be,
end it. I love that.
yeah. There
And
you go.
thank you for being so open with the viewers.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Robbie. I'm a share.
I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Sounds good. I love you very much.
Mwah. It's your birthday coming up, right?
It is May 21st.
I was thinking, I was like, I think that Avi's a Gemini. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And then yours will be up
Yep.
too. Yeah, amazing. Well, we'll do a Zoom
Mwah.
party.
Yes.
All right, Robbie. I love ya.
Love you. Bye.
Okay, bye.